I'm Maddie. Have you ever considered who's the daddy? By which I mean, which animal makes the best father? Let's face it, in the natural world it's all about Mother Nature. In general, fathers carry a bad reputation for providing little paternal care. However, there are some animal dads that take their role very seriously indeed. Male seahorses are iconic animal fathers. In fact, they've almost completely swapped gender. It's the fathers who fall pregnant, not the mums. Female seahorses lay their eggs inside a male's special pouch, which for all intents and purposes is like the womb of a mammal. The eggs are fertilised and are immersed in a fluid which gives them all of the oxygen and nutrients they require to develop. Pregnancy can last 2 to 4 weeks depending on water temperature, and this little guy will actually go into a form of labour, complete with contractions. He may give birth to as many as 2,000 young. Sadly, the father then does little to look after its young once they're born, and infant mortality rate can be as high as 90%. Thankfully, the Namaqua Sand grouse shows more devotion. Most dads like to wet the baby's head and go for a drink when it's born, but this sand grouse isn't collecting water for itself, but for its chick. Living in the arid regions of southwest Africa, the Namaqua sand grouse must keep its chicks well hydrated, so the father soaks up water with specially adapted feathers on its belly. Each feather can absorb 15 to 20 times its own weight in water, allowing one male to carry up to 40 millilitres. And to make transportation more efficient, the fluid is actually stored on the inside of the feather to help reduce evaporation rates. With a full load, the father flies back to the chicks where they drink from the feathers. In contrast, the giant water bug has the opposite problem, keeping his offspring dry. Yep, those warty lumps on its back are in fact his future children. The female will lay around 150 eggs on the male's back, using a glue-like secretion to stick them in place. The male then carries them around like a mobile nursery for 3 weeks before they hatch. He spends a lot of this time out of the water, keeping them dry so they don't go mouldy. His other major duty as a parent is protecting them from predators. Believe it or not, this chap actually delivers one of the most painful bites among insects. Thankfully, the male Darwins frog has a much softer bite, because he keeps his children safe by hiding them in his mouth. Once the eggs reach around 20 days old and the tadpoles begin to wriggle, he picks them up with his tongue and stores them in a special vocal sac. The entire metamorphosis process takes place here until they're ready to hatch into tiny froglets. To make space, the internal organs of the Darwin's frog actually distort to accommodate the young, and when they're ready to hatch, a remarkable vocal pregnancy takes place. That is sick, but even this level of devotion is nothing compared to my ultimate animal dad, the emperor penguin. The female produces a single egg and willingly hands it over to the father to incubate through the cold winter months. During this time, the mother will go to feed whilst the father starves and faces temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius and wind speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. They may have to go for over 100 days without food, and they can lose approximately 45% of their body weight as they nurture the egg. They actually balance it on top of their feet to keep it off the cold, icy ground, which would rapidly kill the embryo. To keep themselves warm, the dads huddle together, taking it in turns to spend time in the middle. These are some seriously devoted fathers. Even when the females come back, the bond with their young is so strong they're actually reluctant to leave.